Hey guys, it's Omer from MMOs.com, and I'm doing a quick guide on how to run a casino in Final Fantasy XIV. First of all, my super cute Lalafell's name is Rimote Sugoi, and I play on Gilgamesh. I run a pretty well-known casino in Limsa, and I've been doing so on and off for about 6 months or so. So why a casino, you might ask? Well, 2 reasons. You can earn a whole lot of gil, first of all, as you can see on my character, and it's actually a surprising amount of fun. So how does an in-game casino actually work? It's quite simple. You can see my shout on the bottom left of the screen in the shout menu, where you essentially set up a game of chance utilizing the /random feature in the game, which generates a number between 0 and 999, and of course it has to favor the house. The game I've been running for quite a while now is simple. Players type /random and win double their money on rolls of 590 and higher, triple at 950 or higher, and times 7 at 999, and you can see my /shout advertisement once again on the screen. This particular game of chance has an EV, or expected value, of about 0.88, which means that for every 1 gil somebody bets, they'll win back 0.88, or about a 12% house edge. In bigger number terms, that's about a million gil bet. I'll make about 120k profit on average on every single one of those bets. And it may not seem like a huge amount, 12%, but I've had customers actually betting 20 to 30 million in a single roll. Even though I only advertise 10k to 10 million in my shout, I do accept bigger bets from my regular players. So what do you need to get started? About 1 million gil. You can make do with less, and some chat macros, and that's really about it. So I can show you some of my macros right now on my macro page over here. I essentially have a macro for bet placed. I can do a trade macro. If they lose, I'll just do /fume. If they win, I'll say like cheers, and I'll say winner. And it's actually quite simple. And actually, I'm going to transition this video over to a VOD of me running a casino on one of my Twitch streams. And while that runs and fast forward, I'll talk a bit more about the actual casino. Alright, so I'm showing you guys one of my old archived Twitch streams of me running my casino. I would have loved to show you this in real time, but the way casinos work is that business comes in waves, so oftentimes no one is playing, but other times it does get pretty crazy busy. I do want to emphasize that running a casino in FF14 is perfectly allowed. A GM has been quoted on the FF14 forums as saying casinos are treated like any other in-game trade agreement, meaning the only problem is if you rip somebody off. If somebody wins, you must pay them out. So ultimately, don't rip anybody off and you'll be fine. And you wouldn't want to anyway. You have a 12% edge. You're going to make money in the long run. Some days you might lose money, but overall, you're going to make quite a bit of money. Some quick context as well. I've made over 750 million running this casino on Gilgamesh, and it's surprisingly easy to do because it's mostly with trade macros for a lot of it. And you can kind of run it on a second monitor, and it doesn't really require your full attention. You kind of pay attention when somebody starts playing, but beyond that, you don't really have to focus on the game too much. Only when someone's playing do you actually need to focus. I usually have my guildmates, my free company members, and friends do dances with me on the side, which actually helps to create a more fun atmosphere. I mean, a lot of people think running a casino is kind of sleazy, but you'll be surprised. Almost every day, people come up to me like, "Thanks, dude. Like, you running this casino makes Limsa way more interesting. I appreciate the opportunity to play." I don't get anyone that really complains. I think throughout 6 months of doing this, 2 people out of literally hundreds, maybe like 300 plus people that played, were really salty about it. Only 2 people. So win or lose, just remember you're entertaining your customers. And I've actually done a lot of fun freebies and giveaways. I'll do a /shout and be like, whoever rolls a 990 or higher wins a free 1 million gil. So I've given away over 50 million gil just for fun and promoting my game that way. It gets you a lot of goodwill in Limsa, wherever you're advertising as well. So it's always good to give back on days you win a lot of money. And I remember the video in the background is sped up, and if you can't quite follow what's going on, people are placing bets, they trade with me, and having /random, and the rolls are unfortunately beneath my camera, but they're kind of rising above as more rolls coming by. So as they win, I pay them out. If they lose, I keep the money, and people are going back and forth. And I want to give you guys a few tips for running your own casino. I prefer to pay out my customers very quickly when they win. So what I'll do is I'll have a notepad document for numbers between 100k up to 1 million. That way, when somebody bets 100k, I can have 200k copied on my clipboard. So the second they win, I can hit 1 for my trade macro to open trade, and I can instantly paste 200k into the guild window, which makes the trades go very quickly. And when you're dealing with bigger numbers, it can be a hassle, because when somebody bets 10 million, that's 10 trades of 1 million each. And if they win, you have to pay them out 20 million or up to 70 million, and you have to do 70 trades. It can take a while, but if you have 1 million copy on your clipboard, you can actually do it pretty quickly. I've gotten very quick at it, because again, I have a trade macro, so I hit 1, which trades whoever I'm targeting, and I instantly paste the million, and I click accept, and we go back and forth. Some fun little stories. I've had one player win 100 million off me. I've had one person bet 10 million. He won. He got 20 million, and then he instead of collecting his 20 million, he said, let it ride. So he bet all 20 million and he rolled, I think, a 970 and he won triple. And I paid him out 60 million. So that one guy made a ton of money on me. And some days you're going to lose money. It's just the way probability works. I do want to emphasize, I can't emphasize this enough. If your players want to bet like 100K, if they lose, they bet 200K and then 400K. It's called the Martingale Strategy. It doesn't work. If your customers are betting that way, don't be afraid to take their money. Take all the bets you can. There are no secret betting methods. They can't beat you by trying to predict the slash random. If they lost 10 times in a row, it doesn't mean they're any more likely to win the next bet. I've had friends running casinos and they get kind of scared when people start, doing the Martingale strategy. Again, I can't emphasize this enough. There are no betting strategies, and there's no way to predict the RNG of the slash random. You may think you got it figured out, but I guarantee you don't. It's random every single time. And don't be afraid to take the bets. A few other things to keep in mind when starting out is you want to set limits. I started with, I think, a couple 100K. So I was only accepting up to like 50K max bet at one point. And as you get a bigger and bigger bankroll, you can increase your max bet. Never take bets you can't afford to pay out. So again, as you earn more money, you can raise your limits. I do it for a lot of fun as well. So my minimum bet is 10K. I've had to raise my minimum bet when it gets crazy busy. I have moments where like 20 people are trying to trade me at once. And if you create a fun game and you're fair and people know you as like the casino guy, you get a lot of business. So it takes a while to establish yourself. Some days you don't get a lot of business. Other days it's booming. And I want to emphasize this the most. Do not spam the chat. That is the worst thing you can do. You advertise once every 10 minutes. You advertise once. You don't want to appear as the douchebag who spams the chat. Okay, be minimal about it. Some people don't want to play. You don't want to aggravate them. So once every 10 minutes, I think is more than fair. And after a while, again, people know you're running a casino. They'll walk up to me even before I advertise and start trading with me to play. So that's really it. You establish yourself. You follow the rules, you pay out the wins, you have a good time, and you make sure your customers have fun. You talk with them, joke around, do some fun emotes, and you'll make a lot of money. I've made over 750 million. I got the large house. I got a ton of gil on my character. It works. You run an honest business. People will come and they will play. And if you have any questions on how to run a casino, anything I didn't cover, anything you're curious about, leave a comment below and I'll definitely answer you. I've been doing this for a long time. It's 100% allowed, and I'll help you out. Start a casino on your server. You provide a service. I think people would appreciate you there. Just follow the number one rule of running a casino. Don't be a douchebag. Be a fun person to be around and keep your spam to a minimum. And that is it. Later, guys.